Someone younger than you is in love with you right now, and it is destroying them. Not because the love is wrong, because something inside them believes they are not allowed to feel it. But the universe never said that. The universe never put a number on what two souls are allowed to feel. The universe never looked at two people standing close and counted the years between them before deciding if the connection was real. Something was set in motion between you and this person long before either of you were born. Something much older than reason, much deeper than logic. And right now that something is tearing them apart from the inside. Not because they doubt what they feel, because they feel it so strongly that it scares them. Because they already know the questions people would ask, because they already know the looks they would get, and they are standing in the middle of that fear with your name burning a hole through the center of their chest. Let your body settle into this moment. What you are about to hear has been waiting for you, not for anyone else, for you. Your soul called this in, and now it is here. Welcome to Soul Signal. Subscribe now and turn on all notifications so you never miss when the universe has something to share with you. There is a moment that happens between two souls when the number of years between them disappears. When the body stops counting and the soul starts seeing. The spiritual world calls this timeless recognition. It is the moment their eyes found you and something ancient inside them said, "I have known you before." Not your face, not your name. The feeling of you, the frequency that only you carry. That moment happened to this person, and it changed everything. They did not plan to love someone older. They did not wake up one morning and decide to feel this way. It landed on them the way rain lands, without warning, without permission, without asking if the timing made sense or the numbers lined up. They looked at you, and something inside them went still. Not uncomfortable, still. Sacred, still. The kind of still that happens when a soul finally finds the thing it has been searching for in every room it has ever walked into. And in that stillness, they did not see your age. They saw your depth. They saw the way you carry yourself through a life that has not always been kind to you. They saw the steadiness in your eyes that only comes from having lived through things that most people their age have not even imagined. They saw something in you that their generation does not carry yet. Something that cannot be taught. Something that can only be earned by years of being alive and still choosing to stay soft. Your age is not a wall. It is a door. And their soul walked through it before their mind had time to stop them. If you know someone younger has been looking at you differently, type, "They see me" in the comments. Let the universe know that your heart has already noticed what your mind was afraid to name. But the moment their mind caught up to their soul, everything changed. Because the mind does not speak in frequencies, the mind speaks in numbers. And the number between your age and theirs is the only thing their mind can see. They started counting the years. Counting the distance, counting what people would say if they knew what was happening inside their chest. And every number they counted felt like a wall going up between what their soul wants and what their mind says is allowed. They tried to talk themselves out of it. They tried to call it something smaller, admiration, respect, a passing warmth that would fade the way most things fade. But it did not fit. It has never fit. Because what they feel for you is not admiration. Admiration does not wake you up at night with your chest tight and your hands reaching for someone who is not there. Respect does not make your voice change when you say a person's name. A passing warmth does not grow roots in the space between your ribs. It does not refuse to leave no matter how many times you try to pull it out. What they feel for you is love. The kind that does not care about numbers. The kind that does not ask permission. The kind that arrived fully formed and settled into the deepest part of them before they had a chance to say no. And the distance between what they feel and what they believe they are allowed to feel is what tears them apart. right now, in this very moment. There is something that most people forget. The soul does not age the way the body does. Some souls that live in young bodies carry the weight of lifetimes, and some souls in older bodies carry a lightness that youth alone could never explain. Some call this age reversal. The number on the outside has nothing to do with what lives on the inside. This younger person did not fall in love with a number. They fell in love with your soul's depth. And when they looked at you, they felt something they have never been able to find in anyone their own age. A gravity, a weight, a realness that made every other connection in their life feel like a rough draft of something they could never finish. You were the finished version. You have always been the finished version, and they knew it the moment their soul recognized yours. If you already know who this message is about, type the first letter of their name in the comments right now. Just the letter. The universe knows the rest. Now let me tell you what is happening inside them, because on the outside you may see nothing. On the outside they may look calm. They may even look distant. But inside they are being torn in two. The part of them that wants to come to you, pulling against the part of them that is terrified of what happens when they do. They think about you at hours that do not make sense. Not when something reminds them of you. When nothing reminds them of you. In the middle of an empty moment when everything is quiet and their defenses are down, that is when you arrive, not as a thought, as a feeling, a warmth that spreads across their chest and makes everything else in the room feel cold next to it. They hear your voice in their head when you are not there. Not the words you said, the sound of it, the specific texture of your voice that no one else carries. They hear it and their body softens without their permission. Their shoulders drop, their breath slows, as if their whole body recognizes you as safety before their mind has time to argue. They notice things about you that no one else notices. The way you laugh when you think no one is paying attention. The way your hands move when you talk about something that matters to you. The way silence sits differently in a room when you are in it. They have memorized things about you that you do not even know you do. And every single one of those details makes the tearing worse, because every detail is more proof that what they feel is not a phase. It is not something that fades. It is not something they will grow out of. It is something they are growing into. And the deeper they grow into it, the more impossible it becomes to pretend it does not exist. Run your fingers slowly down the inside of your forearm right now, from your elbow to your wrist. Feel the warmth of your own skin. That warmth is the same warmth they feel when they think of you. The same warmth that makes them close their eyes and forget about every number that anyone says should matter. And now I need to share with you what their heart has been saying in the silence, because they have been speaking to you, not out loud, not in messages, inside themselves, in the only place where the truth does not have to be defended. This is what lives inside them right now. I told myself it made no sense. I told myself to look at the years between us and stop feeling this way. I tried to call it something else, admiration, a phase, a feeling that would pass if I just gave it enough time and enough distance. But it did not pass. It grew. And it did not grow in my mind where I could reason with it. It grew in my chest, in my breathing, in the way my body turns toward you before my thoughts have time to stop it. I am not confused. That is the part no one would believe if I said it out loud. I am not confused. I have never been more clear about anything in my life. And that clarity is the thing that terrifies me most, because I know the questions people would ask. I know the look they would give. I know the things they would say that are not really questions, but judgments wearing a polite face. But from the inside, it does not feel like a gap. From the inside, It feels like coming home to a place I have never been, but somehow always knew existed. And every day I try to walk away from that feeling, it follows me, not like a memory, like gravity. That is what they carry, every day, every night. Those words or something shaped exactly like them, living inside their chest, too heavy to carry, too sacred to set down. And something has been growing in you too. Something you did not plan. Something the universe has been building quietly inside you. While you were busy wondering if anyone still sees you the way you want to be seen, you stopped apologizing for the years you have lived. Maybe you did not notice when it happened. Maybe it was not a moment, but a slow settling, the way fog lifts from a valley, not all at once, one layer at a time until the view is clear. There was a time when the number on your birthday made you flinch, when every mirror felt like an argument you were losing, when you looked at younger faces and wondered if your chapter was already over. That time is ending. It may not be over completely, but something inside you has started to shift. You're beginning to feel that the years you have lived are not something that was taken from you. They are something that was given to you. And what they gave you is something no young soul carries yet. Depth. The kind that cannot be performed. Patience. The kind that only comes from having waited for things that never arrived and survived the waiting. Warmth. The kind that does not burn. The kind that holds. The kind that makes a person feel safe in a way they cannot explain. They have never felt it before, and they cannot describe it to anyone who has not felt it themselves. That is what they see when they look at you, not the years, the depth behind them. And that depth is something their soul recognized before their mind had a name for it. A wise soul once wrote that the afternoon of life has its own meaning and cannot be measured by the standards of the morning. Your afternoon is not a lesser version of your morning. It is its own season, with its own beauty, its own power, its own light that falls at a different angle but is no less warm. And something about you carries that light so clearly that a younger soul felt it before they even understood what they were feeling. That is age reversal working through you. Your body may count one number, but your soul glows with something that number could never hold. There is a name for the space between your ages. It is called the sacred gap, not a distance, not a flaw, a design. The way music needs the space between notes to become a melody, the way a bridge needs the gap between two edges to have a purpose. They are the reason this connection carries the weight it carries. Without the gap, there would be no bridge. Without the bridge, there would be no crossing. And the crossing is the whole point. If you believe the years between two souls are not a flaw but a design, type sacred gap in the comments. Let those words carry your truth into the open where it belongs. And while the numbers have been spinning inside their head, something else has been happening between you and this person. Something the numbers cannot touch. Something that has been building in the silence for longer than either of you knows. They are being pulled toward you, not by their thoughts, by something underneath their thoughts, something in the center of their body that does not listen to reason and does not care about what looks right from the outside. Their heart moves differently when you are near. It does not race the way it does around fear. It settles, it slows, it finds a rhythm it cannot find anywhere else. As if your presence is a key that fits a lock in their chest that no one else has ever been able to reach. Their breath changes around you, gets deeper, gets fuller. As if their lungs remember how to work properly only when you are in the room. They catch themselves leaning toward you, not with their body, with something deeper. Their whole being tilting in your direction the way a flower turns toward light it did not choose but cannot resist. And when they leave your presence, something drains out of them, something they cannot name. A color that was there a moment ago and is suddenly gone. A warmth that was holding them together and now has nothing to hold. They walk away from you and everything goes flat. And they do not understand why everything feels slightly wrong until they realize the only thing that changed is that you are no longer near. There is a word for what is happening between you. Soul gravity. When two souls carry enough weight for each other, everything around them bends. The rules bend. The logic bends. The careful boxes people built to keep love organized bend and buckle under the pressure of something that was never meant to fit inside them. Their soul gravity is pulling them toward you right now. And every day they resist, it costs them more than the day before. There is an old truth that says the soul has no age. It is not young. It is not old. It simply is. And what simply is cannot be measured by a calendar, cannot be judged by a number, cannot be stopped by the voices of people who have never felt what this person feels, who have never stood next to someone and felt everything inside them go quiet. The years between you are not distance, they are depth. Type soul gravity if you felt the pull before you had a word for it. Let those words land in the place where the universe keeps its records, but the tearing inside them is getting worse, not better. Because every day they spend pretending this love is something they can manage is another day the love proves them wrong. They sit across from someone their own age and feel nothing. Not dislike, not disinterest, nothing. A blank space where electricity should be. A silence that does not feel sacred the way silence feels with you. A conversation that moves forward but lands nowhere. Words that make sense but carry no weight. And then they think of you, and the blank space fills, and the silence hums. And every word they ever wanted to say rises up in their throat, like something that has been buried too long, finally breaking the surface. They are not measuring you against anyone. What they feel with you has no equal. It exists in a space of its own, a space that has no name, because nothing was ever built to hold what two souls carry when they find each other across a distance that everyone else says should not be crossed. Place both hands on the tops of your knees right now. Press down gently. Feel the weight of your own hands. That steadiness, that grounding. That is the energy they cannot find anywhere else. That is the thing about you that no age could ever take away and no young soul could ever resist. And now, hear what their heart is saying right now, in this very moment, in the part of them that stopped pretending. I am done explaining this to myself. I am done making it smaller so it fits inside a shape that others would accept. What I feel for you does not fit. It was never meant to fit. It was meant to overflow. And I have been holding it back, and my arms are tired, and the holding is not working anymore. I do not care about the number anymore. I care about the way my whole body settles when you are near. The way silence with you feels like the safest room I have ever been in. The way your laugh reaches a place inside me that no one else even knows is there. If people cannot understand that, then they have never felt what I am feeling right now. And I would rather feel this and carry the weight of it alone than go back to a life where everything looked right on the outside and nothing was real on the inside. My soul did not look at you and see a number. My soul looked at you and saw the only person in this life who makes the noise inside me stop. That is what lives in them, pressing against every wall, leaking through every crack, growing louder in every silence. Something is shifting inside them right now. The fear that was holding them back is not gone, but it is losing ground. Every day they wake up with your name in their chest is another day the fear gets smaller, and the love gets heavier, and the distance between staying silent and speaking the truth gets thinner. Maybe they are the one who always holds the door for you a little longer than necessary. Maybe they are the one whose voice changes when they speak to you, gets softer, gets slower, as if everyone else runs at one speed and you run at another, and they have already chosen your speed without telling you. Maybe they are the one who asks you questions no one else asks, not about your day, about your life, about the things you carry. Maybe they are someone you have not seen in a while, but they think about you more than you will ever know. Whoever they are, the tearing is reaching its limit, because a soul cannot be divided forever. A soul that has recognized its match does not stay quiet forever. It waits, it gathers strength, and then it moves. Not when the person is ready. When the soul decides the waiting is done. And their soul is almost done waiting. Type one thing about you that no number could ever measure. Write it in the comments. Let the universe read it. Let it carry beyond this moment into the space between you and the person whose soul already knows what it says. And while all of this has been building inside them, my dear, you have been standing on ground that belongs only to you. Ground you built without help, without applause, without anyone telling you it was worth building. Maybe you have caught yourself saying sorry for your age in moments where no apology was needed. Maybe you have looked in a mirror and wondered if the years have taken more than they gave. Maybe you have told yourself that the time for being loved like this has passed. And maybe tonight is the night this finally lands somewhere deep enough to stay. The time has not passed. The time is now. And the soul that found you does not see a single thing that time has taken. They see everything that time has built. What you have lived through is not something heavy you carry behind you. It is medicine, and they can feel it every time they are near you. You did not lose anything with the years. You gained something that youth alone could never carry. You gained the kind of stillness that makes other people feel safe without knowing why. The kind of patience that does not perform. The kind of love that does not rush because it has already learned that rushing is not the same as arriving. And every year you lived added another layer to the thing inside you that their soul cannot resist. The depth in your eyes is something that cannot be rushed into being. It takes years to build, and they are drawn to it the way a river is drawn to the sea, not by choice, by gravity. Your age is not what pushed them away. Your age is what pulled them in. And something inside you already knows this. Their struggle is not your weight to carry. Their fear is not something you were meant to fix. Their tearing apart is something that belongs to them, not to you. You do not need to shrink yourself to close the gap. You do not need to become easier to love. You were never hard to love. They are just afraid of how easy it is. You are not waiting for them to cross over. You are living. You are whole. You have been whole this entire time. Through every night you wondered if anyone would ever see past the number. Through every morning you got up and chose to keep going without anyone saying that you were still worth choosing. You were always worth choosing, not because someone younger finally saw it, because it was always true. The years did not make you less. They made you rare, and rare does not need anyone to confirm it. Whatever this younger soul eventually decides to do with the love that is tearing them apart, it does not change what you are. If they find the courage to cross the gap and stand before you with everything they have been carrying, your heart will already know what to do. It has always known. Your heart does not need instructions. It knows what is real. It has always known what is real. My dear, you are not a number on a page. You are a universe inside a body, and the soul that recognized you did not count. It did not measure. It did not calculate. It's simply new. Maybe one day they will stand in front of you with nothing between you but honesty, and they will not mention the years. They will not explain themselves. They will not justify what they feel. They will simply look at you with eyes that have already made their peace with everything anyone might say. And in that look, you will see the whole war they fought. Every night they tried to talk themselves out of you. Every morning they woke up with your name still sitting in their chest. Every moment they almost reached for you and pulled back because someone else's voice was louder than their soul. Maybe what arrives will be quieter than you expected. Not a confession, just a presence. A person standing closer than they used to. A hand that finds yours without asking. A silence between you that feels like it finally has permission to be what it always was. Maybe the thing that was tearing them apart will be the very thing that finally brought them to you. Because some doors only open when the pressure becomes too great to stay closed. And the pressure inside them has been building for longer than you know. Or maybe what comes next will not come from them. Maybe it will come from a direction you did not expect, a door you did not see.